Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. I am Harrison Graham, back with another video just for you guys. Mailbag time today. Thanks to everybody who submitted their questions on the community post. We greatly appreciate that. Got a lot of good ones, including a lot of trade ideas, so we'll jump into those in a minute. But first, let's start with Kingfish67 here using hashtag Bears. Do you think the Bears will win the NFC North this season? I think that it's possible, Kingfish. I think this division's pretty open. I like the moves the Bears made this offseason. They brought in Robert Quinn. They signed Jimmy Graham. I think Ted Ginn will provide some speed on the outside. Tayshaun Gibson should be a solid Ha-Ha Clinton-Dix replacement. You know, Nick Foles brings competition to the quarterback position. Danny Trevathan's back. Drafted some solid players as well. So I definitely think the Bears got better as a whole. And when I think about the NFC North, I think, okay, Green Bay, sure, they went 13-3 last year, but they won a bunch of close games, and I don't like what they did this offseason. I think they're definitely a regression candidate. Minnesota lost a lot of pieces on defense. We'll see what Detroit does. They weren't as bad as their record suggests. Lost a bunch of close games, had injuries, including to Matt Stafford. So I kind of think this division is wide open. If you want to know my specific answer on where the Bears finish this year, I already did a record predictions video for you guys that you can check out. We do all kinds of videos here on Chicago Bears Now, so I encourage you to subscribe to the channel. I did my predictions video, like I said, broke down all 16 games and finished with a blank record. You guys can check that out. We do trade ideas videos, put this one up earlier on in the week. Of course, we had the latest rumors and news and videos like today, latest Q&As from you guys. So always be using hashtag Bears to submit your questions so you can get on our next Q&A video. Like I said, continue to grow the channel. Help us out. We're doing all kinds of videos. We're very interactive with you guys here on Chicago Bears Now. I encourage you to subscribe. I encourage you to turn on notifications. That way you never, ever miss a video here on Bears Now. All right, Braden Miller asks, should the Bears pick up Jadeveon Clowney to make the defense even better or just leave it as it is? Hashtag Bears. I would be intrigued. The price tag is certainly lowered. Here's kind of the latest on Clowney. Apparently, he turned down the best offer he's gotten yet from the Cleveland Browns. Adam Schefter reports that he has declined that offer. So I don't really know where Clowney is right now. He initially wanted $20+ million per year. That clearly is not going to happen this year. I think he's going to sign a 1 or 2 year deal with the team and then re-hit free agency probably next year. Now, if Chicago's going to get in the mix, the number still has to get down $13 million. Even then, you're going to have to move some contracts around. You could restructure some contracts. You could cut a couple of players still to save some money on the salary cap. But I just don't think it's going to be Chicago that signs Jadeveon Clowney because it's not really a position of need. Is Clowney better than Robert Quinn? Yes. Like, even though the sacks favor Quinn from last year, Clowney is certainly a better player, but that doesn't mean you should go sign Clowney and spend money on Clowney when, A, you don't really have enough money right now, B, you're going to have to probably cut a player or two to clear enough money right now. Like, I'd be curious to see what you guys think. I'll make this the pinned comment on today's video. Should the Bears go after Jadeveon Clowney? Type Y for yes, type N for no. If you get hit with the ad break, go ahead and scroll on down and answer this question. All right, NBA gang using hashtag Bears. Should the Bears trade for Ryan Kerrigan or J.J. Watt? I've actually talked about both these guys. On my trade ideas video, I talked about a possible Ryan Kerrigan trade because I just think it makes sense from Washington's side of view to move on from Kerrigan. He's entering the last year of his deal. They've invested in Montez Sweat and Chase Young in the first round of the past 2 drafts, so they've gone younger at the pass rusher position. And while Kerrigan's still good, Washington's not in win-now mode. They're building for the future, and Kerrigan's north of 30. He probably won't re-sign there. So why not try and get a day 2 pick, maybe a 3rd-round pick for Ryan Kerrigan? As far as J.J. Watt goes, we talked about this on our last video. You know, he spoke highly of the organization, blah, blah, blah. He didn't actually say, hey, I want to go play for the Bears or anything like that. I think what's more likely, though, is that after the 2020 season with Houston, depending on how the Texans do, J.J. Watt will be entering the last year of his contract next year. Could a trade happen next year? I think that's more likely than it would be happening this year. Obviously, you put these two side by side. 2 of the better pass rushers over the past decade. Ryan Kerrigan quietly has been very good since entering the NFL in 2011. Sure, he's not J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt's got 6 more sacks and 28 less games, but Ryan Kerrigan is a good pass rusher in his own right, and if the Bears were to trade for him, he would cost substantially less than J.J. Watt, in my opinion. So keeping that all in mind, costs, trade assets, all of that stuff, who would you trade for? Type W for J.J. Watt. Type K for Ryan Kerrigan. Watt's the better player, but Kerrigan would be cheaper, especially since he's entering the last year of his contract. All right, guys, I hope you continue to stay safe out there. This pandemic has affected all of us in one way or another, but we got to live our lives. We got to go to the grocery store. We have everyday needs, and that means you probably need to wear a face mask. So if you need one, if you want to represent the Bears, go to chatsports.com/BearsMask and get this 3-pack for just $25. If we have football in the fall, which I plan and expect that we will, you may have to wear one of these in a stadium, so why not load up? Get one right there at chatsports.com/BearsMask. We'll put that link in the comments and in the description. All right, NFL Geek 25N asks DeVante Parker and a 2021 4th-round pick to Chicago for Tarik Cohen, a 2021 3rd and a 2021 5th. This is an intriguing idea, and I'll show this trade in full here in a minute. Let's talk about DeVante Parker for a second, though. He finally broke out last year. He was a breakout candidate for about 3 years, and he finally had that breakout season with Ryan Fitzpatrick, of all people. Over 1,200 yards, had the 9 touchdowns. The yards per catch is really good at almost 17. I've always liked his upside coming out of Louisville a few years back, and now it seems like he's finally hit his stride. Could you imagine him as your second outside receiver and then Anthony Miller in the slot? Then all of a sudden Ted Ginn's your 4th receiver as a speedster rotation guy? That would be a lot of fun. Look, this is an intriguing idea to me, and don't get me wrong, I like Tarik Cohen. He's done some good things with Chicago, but A, he's entering the last year of his deal, and B, he wasn't the same guy last year. Now, I think that's mostly because of the offense as a whole. The offensive line wasn't good. Matt Nagy's play calling wasn't, as sharp in 2019 as it was in 2018, but the numbers are what they are, and the explosive plays were gone. I don't think he's necessarily trending down, but I know DeVante Parker is trending up. So I'll show this trade one more time. Parker and a 4th to Chicago for Cohen, a 3rd and a 5th. Who do you guys think wins this trade? Type B for Bears, type D for Dolphins. I think it's Bears all day long, especially since Parker just signed that new deal, so you've got him under contract for a while. And let's just be honest, wide receivers are more valuable than running backs, especially when Chicago already has David Montgomery. All right, let's go to Jackson Rosenthal using hashtag Bears. Do you think the Bears could do a trade of a 2nd-round pick for Mitchell Schwartz? Reason for this is they drafted his future replacement in Lucas Niang, and they need to save money, and trading him would give him that money. A couple of interesting points you made there. Yes, they drafted Lucas Niang out of TCU. Really good tackle prospect. Fell to the 3rd round because of injuries this past season in college. But I think what's more likely for Kansas City is that they're going to move on from Eric Fisher, not Mitchell Schwartz. They can get out of Fisher's contract after this year for like $3 million dead cap. Schwartz is better, and he's an all-pro from just a couple of years ago. Fisher, he got worked in the Super Bowl, so I think that's a little bit more likely. So maybe trading for Fisher is more of a possibility here. I don't think the Chiefs are going to trade Schwartz, but I do think you're onto something there. They're not going to keep Schwartz and Fisher long-term, and we know the Bears need offensive line help. You guys know it. I know it. The NFL knows it. It seems everybody knows it except the Bears because they haven't done much this offseason. Their biggest move on the offensive line this offseason has been hiring a new offensive line coach in Juan Castillo. Will he help? I think so. Will he make this offensive line elite all of a sudden? No, you still need talent there. So I understand why you guys want the Bears to make a move for an offensive lineman. So do I. I also want to remind you guys to subscribe to the channel. Mentioned it a little bit earlier, lots of different types of videos, and our goal is to reach 10,000 subscribers as soon as possible. We're approaching 9,000 here. Let's go ahead and zoom on past and get to 10K as soon as we can. More subscribers equals more videos, more content for you guys to enjoy. I like doing the videos. I want to do one every day. We're close. We're like 4 or 5 a week right now. We continue to get more subs. I think we'll do more videos for you guys. Cloaked FN, what do you think the chances of us getting another wide receiver is? And if so, who do you think it would be or could be, and which player can we benefit from? I'll just show 10 or so players here that are still available in free agency now that the draft is passed. Top 2 guys obviously are clearly the most talented out there, Antonio Brown and Josh Gordon. Can't sign Gordon right now. He's still applying for reinstatement, but I expect that will go through soon. You can sign AB, but he's still facing a suspension according to reports, so you probably won't have him for at least 4 games, if not 6 or 8. Paul Richardson, Demaryius Thomas, Taylor Gabriel's still out there. Cut him earlier in the offseason. You could always bring him back for a cheaper price, but I think that ship has probably sailed. Some other guys here, Chester Rogers. I'm intrigued by Tavon Austin because he's kind of a gadget player. He can do some different things for you. Chris Hogan, he hadn't been the same guy since he left New England. Jordan Matthews, Dontrell Inman. It's pretty thin, guys. There's not anybody out there, unless you want to take a chance on one of these two guys, that's really going to make a major impact. They signed Ted Ginn. A lot of those players are about that caliber. Decent NFL receivers. These two guys are better. Antonio Brown and Josh Gordon, they're really good players. Sure, they've got red flags, they've got concerns, but if the Bears want to take a chance on one of these guys, I don't know if I would do it, but I'm curious what you guys would think. Would you go A for Antonio Brown or J for Josh Gordon? Go ahead and type your answers down below. All right, KKK here. Why do you think the Bears went after Nick Foles rather than Cam Newton? I don't want to rip you guys, but I'm kind of tired of answering this question, but I'll do it one more time. The Bears and every other NFL team aren't confident in Cam Newton's medical situation. So they're not going to sign him / trade for him / whatever. Obviously, it wouldn't be a trade now, but at the time it could have been a trade until they can give him a proper physical. And with the Big C going on right now, teams, they can't do it, and the Bears weren't going to wait. They said, hey, we know Nick Foles. This coaching staff knows him. We think we can bring him in here. He can at least compete with Mitch, if not win the job in 2020, and maybe he's your quarterback for the next couple of years. I think a healthy Cam Newton's better than Trubisky. I think a healthy Cam Newton's better than Nick Foles. But look at what we saw last year. Only played in 2 games. We haven't seen a proper medical evaluation. I hope he gets a job soon, but the reality is he's probably going to have to settle for a backup job in 2020. Maybe he'll be a starter again in 2021.